which is right here, and then the cross-validation. So first of all is the residual examination. So what is residual? So residual is the differences between the actual observed value and predicted value in the regression. So it is uses in the calculation of some statistic associated with the regressions. Moreover, the dispersal with is called here the scattergrams of the residual, in which the residual are compared with the predicted value right here, or the time of the or the predictor variable provides useful insights in examining the appropriateness of the basic assumptions and the regression model. As you can see right here in the figure 17.7, the residual plots indicate that the variance is not constant when the predicted value is here, and the residual is this way. So in the figure of 17.8, the plot indicate the linear regression relationship between the residual and time. As the time go from here to here, the residual also change. And in the 17.9 right here, it shows a plot that indicates that the underlying assumptions are met and the linear model is appropriate. Now, so even examinations of the residual indicate that the assumptions underlying linear regressions are not met, are not appropriate. So researcher can transform the variable in an attempt to satisfy the assumptions. And now we go to the cross-validations. So what is cross-validation? So it's actually a test of validity that examines whether the model holds on the comparable data not used in the original estimation. So it can be used in marketing research because of many reasons. As the regression model is estimated using the entire data set, or the available data are split into parts, and estimation sample and the validation sample. So estimation sample generally contain 50 to 90% of the total sample. So about the double cross validations, it's a special form of validations in which the sample is split into halves. One half served as estimation sample, and the other half is also the another validation sample. The rows of the estimations and validation halves are then reversed, and the cross-validation process is repeated. So now we go to the stepwise regressions. It is actual a regression procedure in which the predictor variable enters or leaves the regression equation one at a time. So the purpose of the regressions is to select from a large number of predictor variable, a small subset of variables that account for most of the variations in the dependence or criterion variables. So there are several approaches to the stepwise regression. First of all is the forward inclusions. So forward inclusions is there's no predictor variables in the regression equations. So predictor variable are entered one at a time. only if they meet the certain criteria specified in terms of the threshold. The others in which the variables includes is based on the contributions of the explained variations. So the second is the backwards elimination. So it is all the predictors variables are included in the regression equations. Predictors are then removed one at a time based on the thresholds. And the third one are the approaching to stepwise regression is stepwise solutions. Forward, it is the forward inductions of is combined with the removal of predictors that no longer meet the specified criterions in at each step. Now we move to the last part, which is multicollinearity. Multicollinearity is the state that a state of very high intercorrelation, like high relationship among the interdependent variables. So it can result in several problems, which includes the partial regression coefficients may not be estimated precisely, the standard errors are likely to be high, or the magnitudes as well as the signs of the partial regression coefficients may change from sample to sample. It's become difficult to assess the relative importance of the independent variables in explaining the variation of dependable variables, or the predictor variable may be incorrectly included or removed in stepwise regressions, and what constitutes seriously multicollinearity is not always clear. So this is my explanation for the definitions. Thank you for listening.